everything is gone. The fire has just taken everything. We're homeless,
Vagabonds.
destitute people. It's quite a strange feeling. Who are we?
This is all that remains of Lois and John Harris's home of 20 years.
Come on, fellas. Afternoon tea time. Come on. This way.
The only sign of life, some pet chooks and guinea pigs, unlikely survivors living in the debris.
I'm busy, and that's sort of stopping me from having time to sit and cry buckets.
The fire killed 2 residents and destroyed most of the small rural town of Yarloop. Some believe the inferno was unstoppable. For others, more could and should have been done. There's hope a state government inquiry now underway will provide some answers.
Anybody who wants to hide anything should be asked to please explain.
As the huge clean-up continues, residents have been asked to stay clear of the town because of hazards like asbestos. But a few remain, either camped out in the ruins or living in the few houses left standing.
This is my mate's place, Matt Colebrook. He lost everything. This is Renee's place here. She lost everything as well.
Arguably, it's been just as hard for those who didn't lose their homes. Alex Jovanovic risked his life to save his.
What I've lost is the whole community. I've lost all my friends. I'm the only one residing on the block now, out of probably 30 houses.
With hundreds of people displaced, there's a desperate need to know what happens now.
I'm 6218, as we say around here, but if I can't live here, you got to say it right here and now. Yarloop will be closed down or it won't. So these people can go home and make plans.
A lot of people want to come back to Yarloop. I think there's also a significant number of people who just, their own circumstances won't. And I just think it's too early to make that call. It is too early.
Matt Colebrook's already decided he's staying put on his burnt-out block in what used to be the town's heritage precinct.
I've been loaned a small caravan to use for as long as I need it. They've donated me barbecues. Another lady in town who's moved out, she basically bought me around a load of furniture, so I've got tables, cooking gear, chairs, chest of drawers.
An army veteran who served in Afghanistan, he's familiar with adversity and is planning to rebuild.
My heart's here. This is my home. It can get a bit depressing and get you down a little bit, but true Aussie spirit, you've got to keep your chin up and go forward. And by just walking away and leaving it as a pile of rubble, that's not going forward. It's just running away from the problem.
For surrounding dairy farmers like Joe Angie, with so much invested, there's little choice but to carry on. But the strain's been enormous.
About 8:30, 9 o'clock, it was at our doorstep. All the trees are on fire. Power poles were going up. The fire was as high as the trees.
2/3 of his pasture and fencing were destroyed.
We'll be staying here. We're going to try and rebuild. We're going to have to carry the expense of this fire. We're hoping that we'll get some assistance and some help to cope.
But not everyone's convinced that Yarloop should be reinvented. Just 4 kilometres up this train track is the Wagerup alumina refinery run by Alcoa. The company says its operations are safe, but some residents can't see the value in rebuilding a community so close to a major industrial plant.
I think Yarloop's finished as far as a town. It'll never ever be the same. Look, a few people may want to stay and rebuild, but basically it's a perfect opportunity to install a buffer zone.
A group of local activists has been fighting Alcoa for 20 years, claiming emissions and dust pose a threat to public health. In the aftermath of the fire, they've renewed their call for residents to be compensated and relocated, possibly to a new town.
It's creating a brand new town, an eco-friendly town, where both the government and Alcoa can take all their accolades. We don't care, as long as we can get the people out of harm's way.
But Alcoa says it's got no plans to extend its buffer zone to incorporate the town of Yarloop. It also won't be rebuilding the 35 rental homes it lost in the fire. Matt Colebrook and others are determined to stay, whatever the company's plans.
I'm not worried about the refinery at all, no. I researched it prior to moving into Yarloop, and I don't believe it's that big a threat as what people are making out.
Whatever happens to Yarloop, what can't be replaced is its heritage. This is all that remains of the town's old railway workshops built in 1896. They were used to service the area's once thriving timber industry.
That was the history of Yarloop. The old workshops where they built engines, and the engineering there was just out of this world really for the time. I think that was just something very, very special that we've lost.
For Lois and John Harris, it's a daily battle to come to terms with losing everything in their twilight years. Like many others, they're in limbo. They don't yet know whether to stay or go. It's a hell of a thing to happen when you're kind of...
When you're old.
You're old.
And you never ever thought that this would happen to you.
This only happens to other people, it doesn't happen to you.
I can't think where I would go if we go.